Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be focusing on how to find good fit books for us. But before we do that, I want to review some of the ways that we can be a good reader. So to do that, I want us to look at the anchor chart that we created yesterday. So what are some ways that we can be good readers? Let's review it. Number one, we find a cozy spot. So that means somewhere in your house where there are no distractions, where you can focus on reading. Okay. Number two, we need to get our reading materials ready. So that means we have our Chromebooks to listen to Epic. That maybe means we have headphones so we can get rid of that noise that's surrounding us. Or we have books at home. So we have one of those three things. Three, we set a reading timer. Our goal, we're building reading stamina, okay? Right, we're building reading stamina. Our goal for right now is that we are reading for 20 minutes, okay? That means we're reading for 20 minutes with no distractions. That means we sit down, we get started right away, and we're reading. We're focused. Our mind is going on a journey. Our mind is going on a journey in our story. That doesn't mean we're sitting there with the book open and we're distracted with what's outside. I get right now that we're at home and there might be lots of distractions, but you need to be focused on the job at hand. And the job is reading, okay? So these are the ways that we can be good readers. And last but not least, that means limit distractions. That means that you're in a quiet space. You're away from others. You put away things that could distract you. What do you think Miss Johanna means when I say you're away from things that can distract you? So I want you to think of toys, electronics, dogs, siblings. You're away from things that can distract you because we can't build our reading stamina. And I always tell my students we build reading stamina. We can't build up that 20 minutes if we're distracted because then our time starts over. So you have to use these before we focus on what our lesson is today. And our lesson for today is we're going to find ways to find good fit books. And I always use the example is pretend I have Ashlyn. Ashlyn's a student in our class, right? If me and Ashlyn were going to put our shoes on, Miss Johanna can't fit in Ashlyn's shoe. My foot is too big for hers, right? So that's not a good fit shoe for me. That's just like books. What Ashlyn reads and what Miss Johanna reads might be completely different. That's same for you guys. You have to find books that are good fits for you. So I'm going to show you today some ways that you can monitor if the book is good for you. And we're going to use the strategy of I pick. We're going to talk about this over and over and over throughout the course of the school year. And Miss Johanna's going to say, well, is that a good book for you? Well, let's look. Let's talk about I pick. Each letter in this slogan represents something. So the first letter that we're going to talk about is the I. And the I means that in order to find a good fit book, you get to choose. So the I stands for I choose, which means that you get to choose the book. You have the choice, so I choose. So today, your job is that you're going to go onto Epic. You're going to find 2 good fit books for you. In order to do that, you're going to have the choice. So you choose. So you get to choose. So I stands for I choose. The P stands for there's a purpose, right? There's a purpose for reading. So you have to figure out what your purpose is for today, okay? Why do I want to read it? So when you go on Epic today and you decide, hey, I'm choosing this book. Why do you want to read that? What is the purpose for wanting to read it? So you have to figure out, why do I want to read it? That's your purpose. Okay? You're going to ask yourself that question. Why do I want to read it? Well, maybe you want to read it because you're interested in it. Maybe you want to read it because maybe you're trying to pick a shark book, okay? You choose a shark book. The purpose is you want to learn more about sharks. So far you've followed the first 2 rules of finding a good fit book. The third rule is back to an I, and the I stands for interest. It's important when we find books that we find a book that we're interested in, because there's nothing worse than reading a book that we don't really like. We're not interested in it. So the next goal is, does it interest me? Okay, interest. Does it interest me? Okay, so let's pretend Miss Johanna picks a book off the shelf. I've got to figure out if it's a good fit book for me. So let's see. I choose a shark book. I got the choice. What's my purpose for reading it? Well, I chose this shark book because I want to learn more about sharks. Number 3, let's see if that fits. Does it interest me? Yes, I love sharks. I want to learn more about sharks. Okay, so far I've met my first 3 goals. My next goal is the C, and I pick. The C stands for comprehend. And comprehend means, am I understanding what I'm reading? So let's write comprehend. Am I understanding what I am reading? This is one of the most important rules today, boys and girls. If you're not understanding what you're reading, then you really shouldn't be reading that book. If it's not making sense to you, it's either too easy or too hard. So we really want to remember the C, and I'm going to even underline it up here. The C and I pick, because if you can't understand, if you're not comprehending the book, then we shouldn't be reading it. Okay, so let's go back and review our rules. We have the I. The I stands for I choose. So I go to the bookshelf, or I go to Epic, right? And I find a shark book. I chose that. I ask myself, why do I want to read it? What's the purpose? I want to read it because I want to learn more about sharks. Then I go to the I, which stands for interest. Does it interest me? Yes, I want to learn about sharks, okay? So I flip the book open and I start reading. And I notice that am I comprehending am I understanding what I'm reading? Well, let me think. Yep, I'm able to read the words on the book. If I'm not able to read the words on the book and I'm not understanding, then it's not a good book for me. But if I can read it and I can understand, then it is a good book for me, and I will check number 5. And number 5 stands for no. And no means not like no, not like yes and no, but like I know something. No stands for I know most the words. So I know / can read most of the words. Okay? I know and I can read most of the words. Okay? So today, your job is you're going to log on to Epic. You're going to browse the library on Epic, and you're going to find 2 books. 2 books today. When you find your books, you need to ask yourself these 5 things. You're going to follow the I pick strategy. You're going to choose. You're going to ask yourself, why do I want to read it? Does it interest you? Are you understanding the book? So you got to read a little bit of it to figure out if it's a good fit for you. And then, do you know most of the words when you're reading? If you answered yes to all of those questions, then that is a good fit book for you and you're ready to read it. Now, if you answered no to any of these questions, you have to go find another book. So this might take you a few minutes to figure out, find 2 good fit books for you. Now, you're not going to be able to read probably those books today. It might take you a couple days to read them, but just from reading them a little bit, you should be able to answer these questions and decide if they are good fit books for you. So right now, your job is to go on to Epic, sign in, find your name, and go explore Epic. You need to find 2 books that fit these rules that we just went through. And when you're done with that today, you need to go back to the playlist and you need to click on the link that says My 2 Good Fit Book Assignment, and you need to complete that assignment. It is a couple survey questions that you're going to answer about your good fit book. You can find that assignment in Google Classroom, but the link is also in the playlist. After you complete that, I would like you to set a 20-minute timer, and I would like you to read independently, which means by yourself for 20 minutes using the strategies of being a good reader, of finding a cozy spot, of having your materials ready. Maybe you want to read the good fit book you just picked for yourself. You're going to limit your distractions, which means you need a quiet space away from others, putting things away that could distract you. Okay? Those are your jobs today for reading. You're going to find 2 good fit books, complete the assignment on Google Classroom, and then read for 20 minutes. Have a great day. I cannot wait to see you soon.